Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast. Today, we're zeroing in on a question many of you are asking. Is Replimune Group a good time to buy now?
Yeah, that's definitely one on people's minds.
Replimune is a clinical stage biotech company. They've been generating a lot of headlines and, well, quite a bit of stock volatility.
A lot of volatility.
Exactly. It's thanks to their innovative work in cancer immunotherapies and, frankly, some truly dramatic recent news. So our mission today is to sift through the data, cut through the noise, and help you understand the core facts, the real risks, and the potential this company holds.
Right, we're breaking down what's driving those wild market swings.
And what it means for you. Before we jump in, if you're finding value here, please hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and leave a comment.
Yeah, your thoughts really help us shape future explorations.
And if there's a specific company you'd like us to look into next, just let us know below. A coffee for us also goes a long way in keeping these analyses coming.
Definitely appreciated.
So let's start at the beginning. For those tracking the biotech space, Replimune is certainly on the radar, but let's quickly re-anchor on their core mission.
Okay.
What exactly is this clinical stage company doing in cancer immunotherapy?
Right, so Replimune is, as you said, clinical stage. That means their main focus is R&D, research and development. They're not really selling products yet, not generating commercial revenue.
Got it.
Their core mission is developing what are known as oncolytic immunotherapies for cancer. Specifically, they're working on proprietary therapies based on the HSV-1 virus.
The herpes virus. Interesting.
Yeah, but modified, of course. The idea is basically to use this modified virus to activate the body's own immune system to fight a wide range of cancers. It's pretty innovative stuff.
And they've been in the news lately because of a very specific critical event that really threw the market for a loop, correct?
That's absolutely right. The company was approaching a pivotal moment recently. It was all about the PDUFA date for their lead product candidate, RP1.
PDUFA date, that's the FDA deadline, right?
It's exactly. Prescription Drug User Fee Act date. It's the FDA's target for making a decision on a new drug application. This one was for RP1, used in combination with Opdivo, that's nivolumab, for advanced melanoma.
And this was a big deal because
It was poised to be their very first potential regulatory approval, the first for their entire platform. Originally, people were looking at around July 22nd, 2025 for that decision.
binary event, make or break. You hear those terms thrown around. But in biotech, aren't lots of these decisions high stakes? What made this one so uniquely pivotal for Replimune?
You're right. Many biotech decisions are high stakes, but this one was particularly acute because it was the first shot at getting approval for this whole approach.
Validation, basically.
Exactly. The outcome had the power to dramatically reshape how investors saw things. Either it would validate Replimune's whole oncolytic virus platform, or, well, it could reignite these deep-seated concerns about whether this whole class of therapies is commercially viable.
And the market felt that uncertainty.
Oh, absolutely. The sentiment going into that decision was incredibly mixed. Implied volatility was running extremely high. We're talking around plus or minus 70%.
70%, wow.
Yeah, I mean, think about that. It means the market was literally bracing for the stock to swing a staggering 70% in either direction based on what the FDA said. That tells you just how uncertain and high stakes this truly was.
So what were the specific hangups? What was the FDA looking at?
Well, there were questions around things like the effectiveness of injecting the therapy directly into the intratumoral delivery. Also, the overall clinical meaningfulness. Did it really help patients significantly? And did RP1 truly add enough benefit beyond the existing anti-PD-1 treatments like Opdivo? All that was pretty uncertain.
A roller coaster barely covers it. Can you walk us through the actual stomach-churning dips and climbs Replimune stock has seen? Paint a clearer picture of this market frenzy.
It's been an absolute wild ride, no question. Earlier this year, believe it or not, Replimune actually saw a substantial 65% surge in its stock price.
Really?
Right.
What drove that?
That was largely driven by some promising clinical trial results for RP1 and melanoma. Things looked good, and it initially led JP Morgan to boost its price target for Replimune up to $19.
Okay, so good news first.
Right. But then, just days later, the tide turned dramatically. The FDA issued a rejection for RP1's biologics license application, the BLA.
The bad news hit. Why the rejection?
The agency cited flaws in the design and the data quality of the main trial, called IGNYTE.
Ouch. And the market reaction.
Massive. A 77% collapse in the stock price. It even led to a securities class action lawsuit being filed.
At JP Morgan.
They did a sharp reversal, cut their price target significantly, all the way down to $9.
Wow. But just when you thought the roller coaster had stopped, it climbed again. It's almost hard to keep track. What was the next twist?
Indeed, the plot thickened considerably. On July 30th, 2025, Replimune experienced another surge, climbing 65% in a single day.
65% again. What caused that?
It was driven by JP Morgan again revising its price target, this time raising it from $16 back up to $19 while keeping an overweight rating.
What was their reasoning this time?
They cited advancements in RP1's melanoma treatment, which is interesting given the recent rejection.
It really highlights the volatility, doesn't it? And maybe how reactive analysis can be.
Absolutely. This rapid sequence boost, cut, then another big re-raise really shows how, in these highly speculative sectors like biotech, even major analysts often end up reacting to news rather than consistently predicting it. It underscores the market's own deep uncertainty.
That's a crucial reminder for investors, isn't it? Look beyond the headlines.
Definitely. You need to understand the underlying drivers yourself.
That sounds like market sentiment played a huge volatile role. Was this driven by one type of investor, or did we see a broader reaction across the market?
It was a fascinating mix, actually. We saw a massive surge in retail investor bullish sentiment, like a staggering 1,500% spike on platforms like StockTwits after that latest JP Morgan upgrade.
1,500%, so huge retail interest.
Very high level of speculative interest from individuals, yeah. But at the same time, the trading volume on that day, July 30th, was immense, over 132 million shares traded.
That's not just retail.
No way. That kind of volume suggests heavy institutional participation or maybe significant short covering activity. It tells us professional investors were also actively engaged, trying to capitalize on all this uncertainty.
So a real convergence of different players reacting.
Exactly. Everyone jumping in on these high-impact events.
We've seen the market's wild ride, but often the real story lies beneath the surface. For you, the investor, the question isn't just about daily swings, but what's actually happening under the hood. So, beyond the trial drama, what do the fundamentals tell us about Replimune's financial health?
Well, the fundamentals, they reveal what you'd typically expect for a clinical stage company like this. Replimune doesn't have significant commercial revenue yet. Not selling much, if anything.
So they're burning cash.
Right. They're currently burning through cash, reporting substantial net losses. We're talking roughly $280 million in the past year alone. That translates to about $3.60 loss per share.
And future earnings depend entirely on
getting those regulatory approvals and then successfully commercializing the drugs, both of which are inherently risky and, frankly, highly unpredictable at this stage.
That makes sense. But do they have enough financial stability right now? Can they keep the lights on and fund the research without constantly needing more capital?
That's a key question. The company does have a market cap of about $450 million and an enterprise value around $109 million. Now, those figures are generally seen as a pretty solid capital foundation for a biotech peer at this stage.
Okay, so they have some cushion.
They do, but, and this is a critical point for investors, they are aggressively growing their share count. We saw a 13.9% increase in shares outstanding over the past year.
Meaning they're issuing more stock?
Dilution. It strongly suggests they're conducting ongoing capital raises, yes, which they likely need to fund those operating losses and their extensive R&D. Crucially, they currently have no positive cash flow, no profitability. So, needing more funding in the future is a key risk you absolutely have to consider.
And how does one even value a company like this? No current revenue, no profits. It feels like traditional metrics just don't apply when you're looking into the future so speculatively.
You're absolutely right. Traditional metrics like price to earnings, PE, or price to sales, PS ratios, they aren't really meaningful here. They're not selling commercially yet.
So what can you look at?
Well, the price to book PB ratio is 1.24. That's fairly typical for a speculative clinical stage biotech. There's a forward PS ratio around 14, but again, that just reflects market expectations of future sales that haven't happened yet.
So mostly hope baked in.
A lot of hope, yes. And valuation models like discounted cash flow. Also not very useful because the future cash flows and the success rates of their clinical programs are just extremely unpredictable.
What are the analysts saying then? Any consensus?
The analyst's 12-month consensus price target is around $8.25. But what's really interesting, and tells you a lot about the uncertainty, is that the long-term forecasts show a very wide range of potential prices.
Like how wide?
For example, one average estimate puts it at $20.22 for 2025, but then only 495 by 2030.
Wow, that's a huge divergence.
It really signals significant fundamental uncertainty about their long-term trajectory.
Okay, so with that picture of their market volatility and financial health, let's now pivot to what investors truly need to navigate: the primary risks and those critical future catalysts. What should we be watching out for?
Right, the risks are significant, and it's critical you understand them. First and foremost is development risk. Simple as that. Any further failure to get regulatory approval or positive trial results, that would severely impact evaluation.
And that recent FDA critique doesn't help.
Not at all. The FDA's critique of the eganolite trial was quite sharp. They mentioned heterogeneity and lack of control.
What does that mean in plain English?
It basically indicates that the patient population in the trial might not have been uniform enough, or maybe the study design didn't have sufficient controls, making it hard for the FDA to be confident that the observed benefits were only due to RP1.
So, more trials needed.
It suggests Replimune might need to conduct more rigorous, cleaner trials. And of course, that means further delays and burning through more resources, more cash.
Which brings us to the next risk.
Exactly, dilution risk. With ongoing losses and negative cash flow, future capital raises seem highly probable, and that could dilute the value of the shares you hold.
And the lawsuit?
Right, the class action lawsuit following the FDA rejection that highlights the company's regulatory and legal sensitivity. It adds another layer of risk to the whole thing.
These are all company-specific. What about broader risks?
Good point. It's vital to remember the biotech sector itself is inherently high risk, high reward. It's just prone to these binary outcomes, huge wins or huge losses from trial results and FDA decisions.
So sector volatility is baked in.
Absolutely. Plus, you've got competitive pressures in this specific oncolytic virus therapy space, uncertainties about getting reimbursed by insurance later on, and of course, broader macroeconomic shocks can always hit these speculative stocks harder. All material risks.
So on the flip side then, what could turn things around? What are the potential catalysts that investors should keep an eye on? What could drive the stock up again?
Okay, catalysts. In the short term, we'll be watching for any new clinical trial readouts for their existing pipeline. Also, any additional communication with the FDA related to RP1, that's still a major focus.
And earnings.
Yes, their upcoming earnings report on August 7, 2025. That could give crucial updates on their business progress and, really importantly, their cash runway, how much money they have left. These events will likely drive the next big price moves.
What about looking further out? Long-term catalysts.
Long-term, progress on their other pipeline candidates, like RP2, could be a significant boost. Also, potential new partnerships or maybe even acquisition interest from larger pharmaceutical companies.
M&A is always a possibility in biotech.
Always. And clearer regulatory pathways for their kind of innovative therapies would also be key. It's also worth noting there was some market speculation.
Oh.
Yeah, that the departure of the FDA's top biologics regulator could potentially lead to a maybe more lenient approval process for the sector overall. Some investors saw that as a potential tailwind.
Interesting how those broader regulatory shifts get interpreted.
Definitely. It raises questions about how much that stuff really influences individual company prospects versus the core science.
So after weighing all this information, the science, the volatility, the financials, the risks, the catalysts, what's the overall picture for Replimune Group? Is this an investment for everyone or really just a specific type of investor?
Based on the sources, the overall rating comes out around 4.5 out of 10. Look, Replimune certainly offers exciting scientific potential. It remains a speculative play on innovative cancer immunotherapy. But the lack of commercial revenue, the heavy dependence on clinical and regulatory success, and those recent setbacks, especially that high-profile FDA rejection of RE1, they significantly increase the uncertainty and the downside risk, particularly in the near to medium term.
So even if analyst targets suggest upside.
Right. Even if those targets indicate some upside if specific milestones are achieved, the volatility and the dilution risks remain really elevated. This company seems better suited for experienced short-term traders, people willing to take on substantial risk and focusing on those binary event-driven catalysts we talked about.
And for long-term investors.
For long-term investors, you really have to view this as a high-risk, almost venture capital-like exposure. It should only be a small, speculative part of a highly diversified portfolio, and only if you have a very high tolerance for volatility and the potential for capital loss.
So not a strong buy recommendation for most.
In summary, no. The sources don't characterize Replimune as a strong buy for most investors right now, But they do acknowledge it might attract those traders betting on near-term catalysts or investors with an extremely high risk tolerance looking for opportunistic entries in the speculative biotech space.
Hope is a powerful currency.
It is, especially in biotech. But it absolutely must be backed by solid science to be sustainable in the long run.
As we wrap up this exploration into Replimune Group, we've seen a company right at the cutting edge of science, yet squarely in the crosshairs of market forces and regulatory decisions causing these dramatic swings.
Right, a classic biotech story in many ways.
For you, the listener, the challenge now is weighing that exciting scientific potential against the very real, proven hurdles and risks in such a volatile sector. What specific piece of information from our discussion will you be watching most closely for Replimune Group in the coming months? Is it the next trial data, FDA communications, cash burn?
Lots to keep an eye on.
Thank you for joining us for this in-depth discussion into the world of investing. Until next time, stay curious and keep learning.